saying no is selfish. It's easier to just say yes and be part of it
You have to start practicing that you don't have to answer immediately.
Do you think you are good at saying no?
So yeah, the good no should have three things, I would say. One is the clarity and the respect to the person, and there has to be a very clear answer, yes and no.
Are you a default yes person or are you a default no person?
If you are always saying yes, you would never have the confidence to say no.
People will start liking me less or stop liking me at all if I say no. So today's episode is something really simple but something very hard. Learning to say no. Welcome to Rerouting Life. This is Noreen.
I'm Sunil.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
So when you hesitate to say no, it's not just that your brain is weak or confused.
Yeah, actually, it's your brain who is trying to protect you, and there is a research that is done in the University of California, and that research was basically done on selected few people, and then they run some kind of social experiment on those people. And what the experiment was about is that they asked people different questions, like difficult questions, and then they registered their answers. And what happened was, the people who said no, they just after that, by saying no, or there are some people who said yes to a question, they scanned the brain of these people, and what they found out was the activity of the brain in the areas where it registers physical pain was equivalent to
saying no, saying yes to
something. So people who didn't want to say yes but said yes because of X number of factors that we would discuss in this episode, and those people had same part of the brain activated as when someone gets hurt, like when you have an injury. So when you have a physical pain,
it was registering as a physical pain. It was registering as pain, basically.
Yeah. So your brain is basically, when you are saying yes and no, so your brain is basically thinking of this discomfort as a physical pain. So there is a very deep correlation, deep research as well, but a correlation between how the discomfort of saying yes or no is registered by brain, and it could be different for different people. Like it could be different to people for people who are grown up in a different culture, for example in India, versus the people who lived in an individualistic society like Western culture.
So we're nurtured like that, is what you're saying, if you're talking about, say, Indian cultural upbringing. Is that how we are nurtured?
Yeah, because what happens is, we are most of the times we are taught to be adjustable.
So true.
and also what happens is, when you say yes, you are also being rewarded afterwards. For example, like you said yes to a very simple activity, and then
that you don't actually mean to say yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to say yes, but I know there's a reward behind it. Like in my childhood, if I say yes to mom for any of the tasks that she wants me to do, she would say oh, good boy, good daughter, good son, good student. So we are kind of conditioned to say yes for everything in our culture.
That we agree with somebody else, or we say yes to something that just makes us a good person. What the
it's how you are
how the result is of that. That's how we are conditioned. Do you think you are good at saying no?
I don't think I am good at saying no. I mean, I'm still learning, and I have started learning this after I came here in UK. Like in India, I have never said no to anything. You ask me anything and I would say yes. And as I said, there are multiple reasons behind it. There are psychological, societal, cultural, as well as Vedic meaning attached to it. So when I say psychological, so in my opinion, when I think of it in isolation, we have a self-perception bias. So every one of us wants to think that we are perfect, and I am very confident in saying no. But when it comes to a real action, you are 99% tend to say yes. So this is like your self-perception bias. You want to think that, oh, you can say no, but in reality you don't actually take real actions on
Real
it.
actions. You just, in theory, you
In
think
theory,
that you're
yeah.
good at saying no. It's also attached, in my opinion, that
Mm.
it's also majorly attached to people pleasing. That we are wired to please people. We want people to like. At least that's
Yeah.
how. That's
Yeah,
what happens with me when I struggle to say no. I want people to like me. That's
so
how.
so there is a very interesting story about it that I read. Like, why do you care so much that you want the people to like you? So there is the like evolutionary meaning attached to it, and there was this great story that I was reading. So what used to happen is, like, when we were evolving from let's say the neo humans, the starting human beings, आदि मानव जिनको हम बोलते हैं. So from those to the advanced human beings, what happens before, like 14,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago, when we were still evolving in the in the evolutionary chain,
Mhm.
we were safe in the society. Like, we used to be in a group where everyone is protected in a group. Like, we used to be scared, like, from
There's a
hunters and
community.
gatherers
Hmm.
to the community. When we became the part of the community, then we were more safe. We could raise our children better. We could assign different roles to the different people. So what happened at that time was, you were like being in a society or being in that culture or mixing in that culture to be liked by everyone else was your primary way to survive. So
we're social animals, is what people say. Like, humans
so
are social animals.
are, because, like, we in that scenario, the only meaning was to survive, right? Like, the only motivation was to survive, right? At that moment,
That's how we learn to
you
survive.
did not think about, like, earning money. You did not think about developing careers.
Yeah.
In that evolutionary chain, it was always about survival. And you felt most safe when you were the part of the societies, part of the cultures. You were being liked by people, and that is the reason why you are now wired in the same way. Like, even though now society has evolved from that, you don't want to be, even though you don't want to be
it's
in that
just
society.
ingrained
Yeah, now
in
the
you that
approach
you
is
want to be,
individualistic.
you want to be liked.
Yes.
By other
So it is
people.
ingrained from that time.
Yeah.
That if they, let's say, what happens if they exclude you? What happens if they
The
exclude
fear of
you?
missing out.
Fear of missing out. Like,
That's also a greatest one that you don't want, even if it doesn't concern you.
so, like, the fear of missing out again goes back to the same scenario that I'm discussing. Like, what happens if they exclude you? Like, if they exclude you, then you don't have any society which can protect you. There is no group of people who can protect your family.
Yeah.
So the exclusion means your survival is under threat. Okay. Right? So from that moment to now the meanings has changed. Like, exclusions has a different name called fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So everything has changed. The meanings has changed because now you don't care about individualistic safety. Like, you're safe because now you have a
survival wise, you are
and
safe.
Everything. Yeah. Like it's not just your group is protecting you now. It's the entire government is protecting you. It's the protection has increased.
There's a system.
There is a system. So you can live happily even if you are alone and you are not part of any group, because ultimately someone else is protecting you.
Yeah.
So
if I think about it, okay, physically I can live alone, I don't need anybody, and I can, fend for myself. But it's still somehow, again, going back to us being social animals, when you say that you can live alone, physically yes, but mentally it can get very taxing. It can get very depressing. Yeah. So it's still the same, like you said, the meaning has changed. You still are looking for survival mentally. So you need that community. You need to be part of something. And you think that by adjusting or sacrificing what you actually want to prioritize, what you're doing is just fitting in.
So you are literally, like, softening your boundaries, basically, right? Like, in our society, we are more likable if we are more agreeable, right? Yeah. Like, if you agree on things, then people would tend to like you more.
Yeah.
If you disagree, then there could be many enemies that you would create.
Yes. There is also something called decision fatigue. So decision fatigue is like, instead of explaining no, it's easier to just say yes and be part of it, like I know I cannot be part of this,
Yeah.
or I cannot take up this work, or can't be at this event that you're inviting me to. But instead of me explaining why I can't, that's too much. It's too hectic for me to explain it to you why, and then the easier it is to say just yes and then be there and be miserable myself and not show it to others.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there is also one of the psychological reason is also decision fatigue, is what I have
Because you don't
discovered.
want to like take that immediate discomfort of saying no. Instead of like you just avoid that by saying yes. But the reason like but there are like long-term consequences to it, right? Like when you say yes to things, then you are compromising on things which probably is your priority, right? Like I want to work on XYZ things, but because you don't want to take that at this moment, you don't want to take
Take
that
that decision,
discomfort.
yeah.
Then you would basically like create extra discomfort maybe later on, right? Because like
Because you're saying no to something that you should have prioritized.
Yes.
You're saying yes to something that is
Not your priority.
Yes, not your priority, but then you're sidelining what your priority is.
There is one more angle to it. Like in the Western culture, like if we discuss about how people say no and yes in Western culture, you have been in Canada, and people are very straightforward in saying no. And
Yes.
in India, it's the opposite, right? Like you never say no to things.
Yeah.
There is this cultural difference in as the societies evolve from group based societies to individualistic approaches, like where you try to prioritize yourself. You try to prioritize yourself, then being part of the group, then you tend to say more no's than more yeses, right?
And that also like brings us to a mental block, thinking that if I am prioritizing myself, I am being selfish, or
Rude,
I'm being rude, I'm a bad person for doing that, which is not true. Because
which is not true.
people understand boundaries.
100%.
People respect boundaries, at least in this century, is what I know, that they respect that you're not you have your own commitments, but we don't think like that.
So there is a concept in Vedic culture, ancient Indian philosophy, which answers this question whether you should say yes or no. So in Vedic philosophy, actions should always come from the right alignment. So your dharma, your inner consciousness should tell you what is right and wrong. So basically you should not say yes to protect your image. You should say yes or no based on what your true self feels. So if
you don't have to say, and when we say like learning to say no, it doesn't mean that you have to say no to everything that comes to your plate. There is a right, that's what you're trying to explain, that there is a right alignment to it.
Yes. So I mean, there is no like blanket always say no. But like you always ask from your true self, is it the right alignment? Is it the right action? Would this cause is this conflicting with my true self? Like if I want to literally say no from my heart, but just to protect my image I am saying yes, then it's completely wrong. You shouldn't do that. So Vedas tells you to take that action based on always what is coming from your within, what is coming from your consciousness. So the true self should tell you the answer. So this is the guide. Follow that approach, what your true selves feel, whether my action of saying yes and no is rightly aligned, whether it's a right action or not. That should be your guiding philosophy, I think.
That's very interesting. You know why? Because like I said, you don't have to say no to everything that comes to your plate just because you are trying to practice saying no. It's not to reject everything, but to respect your boundaries. It's more of creating a self-respect for yourself, because even like when you say yes to something that you actually meant no, you kind of are telling yourself, your brain, that what you had planned is not important, what that other person had planned is more important. And it's like self-sabotaging, so it's not very healthy to do that. If I ask you personally about yourself, are you a default yes person or are you a default no person?
I feel like I am default yes. Even like today, even if I have worked in UK and there are different ways how you say yes and no. But still I am a default yes person, because my conditioning, my, the fear of
It's too deeply rooted.
exclusion, yeah, it's too deeply rooted. I would still probably have a short term, avoid short term discomfort than avoiding long term stress, because short term discomfort is avoided if I say yes, right?
Yeah.
Like I want my peers, my colleagues, my friends to like me. I mean, this is what happens.
That's
When
the
I'm saying
ingrained.
me, that
Yeah.
when I'm saying me, it's like all the people who tend to
Who
say
tend to
yes.
say yes. Yes, like I said, that
Yeah.
there is a people pleasing in me as well.
Yeah.
And I know, like, you definitely are a default yes person, because I've seen, like, at multiple occasions that you go out of your way
Yeah.
to what do you say, like, when you committed to say, like, you committed and said yes, now you have to finish that commitment because you
Yeah.
already said yes. So now you go out of your way, out of your comfort zone to make it right.
Yeah.
But that somewhere is also it's also exhausting you, it's also making you tired in your brain, because you are actually going against all your routine, all your plans.
Yes. Yeah, so like after I started reading about it, as well as, like, I think with time, with experience, you realize that you should follow that right alignment, right action, and what are your priorities things. Like when you want to decide on yes and no, you can definitely go back and ask your true self whether you really want to do it, whether you really want to say yes and no to that person. And there is a thing, like, if people like you, if people like you as a person, they would not start hating if you say no, right?
Yes, of
like
course.
like only people whom the yes matters, like, and the yes matters means they are gaining something out of it, only those people will start hating you, because they wanted you to do their own work or whatever.
Their
Like
way.
they wanted to, like, prioritize their own thing, or impose their own thing to
It
you.
also sort of filters out who you want around.
Yeah.
If there are people who, by just
They would
because you are
understand.
not available for something and they're not understanding it, I don't think those are the people worth keeping around.
Yeah. I mean, the
People
right
get
people,
over, right people will get over it, they will move on
they will
from it.
understand why you said no and yes.
Yeah, even if, like, there's like there's a certain discomfort at the point, but they will understand, they will move out of it, and it just goes back to normal again. It's not like you have to keep thinking, saying this also tells me that when we were saying that, saying yes and then it brings pain, a lot of times a yes person like me myself, to be honest, also feels that pain when you say no to something, and you are you feel that you have hurt someone, and that makes me feel hurt, that maybe I shouldn't have said that, like. So it's
But again,
both ways.
it's coming from that action, that
It's coming
emotion,
from
right?
the same emotion.
Yeah.
But it is not that saying no will fix it. It's just practicing it better will fix it. I mean, it reminds me, one time I think it was you who said that some plans, and then you said no to it first, then there was another ask and you said yes, and then I said, but you just said no, and it's like, I cannot say no twice in a row. So that there was that, like, you had you keep a cap to your nose
as well.
even if you're practicing saying that, setting boundaries, you set a limit saying, I cannot say no twice or thrice, I have to say yes the next time they ask. So there is also that thing. The main question is, now we know that why this happens, the main question is, how do you overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, as you have partially answered that already, like, there is a lack of boundary training. So in our culture, especially like in the culture where we lived in the society where we lived in, there was no concept of your own boundaries, right? So there is a lack of boundary training, where you are by default trained to comply, right? Like, so you need to practice that you can have your own boundaries, you can have your own priorities.
That's a self practice that you need to do.
Yeah, that's a self practice. Like, you need to identify, as I said, like, I can go back to the Vedic answer again and
Yes.
again, that your self consciousness, the true self, would tell you what is important for you. Like, you know from your heart what is important to you, and you have to listen to that. When you are answering yes and no, you can always take a moment. You can always say that, oh, let me think on it. I
You don't
haven't. Yeah,
immediately have to
yeah,
answer.
you
You
don't
can
have
take
to
a
immediately.
pause.
Yes, exactly. Like, you can just say that, give me 10 minutes, give me 5 minutes, I am just finishing up something, and I can come to you with the answer of yes and no. So first of all, you have to like start practicing that you don't have to answer immediately. Second is, you ask from your within, as I am keep saying that, repeating it, that you have to ask your true self what you actually want, what is your priority at this moment, and take your make your decision based on that. And then there is this boundary training exercise. Like, you always, is it so critical that you can move your boundaries, you can be more flexible, and if you are saying yes to things, are you harming your immediate priorities? So you have to, like, this is like a multi-dimensional decision making
Of
problem.
course.
Like, it's not just your emotions, it's a decision making problem. So you have to learn how to
That's why you
make
need
those
to pause
decisions.
and go back,
Yes.
because it might majorly affect the other person, and maybe that is when you can stretch your
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
When it's outside your comfort zone, you have other priorities. Now
Yeah.
you cannot say yes to this thing, but it might be affecting that other person majorly, and
Yeah.
it's not affecting as much
Yeah.
your priorities.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good place to say yes instead of actually just going blanket no.
Yeah. Blanket no is not what we are teaching here.
No.
You have to make that decision based on
Multidimensional. Yes, it
dimensions.
cannot be just one
Yeah.
one thing that you look at, that it's just you, your priorities, not necessarily that.
Yeah.
Another thing what I would say is just how to say to how
Yeah.
to start practicing that, how to say no, is you don't have to be so rigid that I'm not available. You can soften the blow, add a soft cushion, and be like, I have other commitments, I have other priorities. Let's do it another time. Rescheduling, or maybe if that place is not, just try to find another solution to it, or maybe just saying that, okay, I have something else planned out. Maybe not, especially at work. Let's get to that phase. Like, saying no at work, how do you face that? I mean, I remember there is this conversation we had, I don't know if we should that where you said that some managers, they be very protective about you saying yes always, and when you say no, they tend to be like, it might affect your promotions or something. So how does that play, what role that plays in work culture, if you want to say?
I think, like, it's different in India and in UK. In UK, people, like in my supervisors and everything, they are really respectful of your decisions.
Yes.
Like, in fact, like, they would expect you to say no more than yeses. Like, if they are asking you a question, they are genuinely asking whether you can do it or not do it, right? But as we grew up in a different culture, we tend to, like, take up more responsibilities. So as I said, like, it's different in different cultures. In India, there could be some of your managers who are expecting you to always say yes, and they would have multiple layers attached to it, that if you say no, then there are things coming up. We are going to, let's say, this trip or whatever, and then this might think about long term, this can affect your performance and all of those things. So these are the clues that you get.
I mean, the culture is changing even in India. Yes, I can see that the culture is also changing in India, but
of course, still, like, this is a disclaimer that not all managers, but some managers. And also, like, there is one more interesting thing, or I would say one more very critical aspect of it, that you don't have to over explain your no's. So
Yes.
every time like you say no, and then you try to add like 10 more sentences to it why you are saying no, then over explaining kind of
It's
perceived
self-damaging.
as like you have low confidence, right? Like
Yes, even like not just perceived, but for
mm,
ourselves, like you say, all you're saying always that you need to look within, look within.
yeah.
It's self-damaging. You're sending those messages to your brain that you did something wrong
Wrong,
because
yeah.
you're
So
over-explaining something. So when you
so you're
over-explain, you feel like you
yeah.
shouldn't have done that.
So yeah, the good no should have three things, I would say. One is the clarity and the respect to the person, and there has to be a very clear answer, yes and no, and don't over explain. When you are over explaining, that means you are basically trying to dilute.
Hmm.
Again, you are trying to stretch your boundaries and you are feeling guilty and all of
Yeah.
that. And this kind of also reflect that you don't have a clarity. When you explain a lot of your no's,
Hmm.
then it is perceived as like low confidence, I would say.
Yes,
So you should
totally.
have confidence in saying no. That means you know what you want to do, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have a direction. You are not a directionless person. Like when you say yes to everything, then your work become directionless, and then you are basically like you're less productive, and all of that negative feedback loop starts. So I think it is
Yes.
very important to be clear on why you are saying no and not over explain it.
It's easier said than done. So
Of course.
you need a lot of practice.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah,
practice this with a small game.
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you up for that?
yeah, yeah.
The game is called yes or no.
Okay.
Obviously. I'll ask you a few questions and you tell me yes or no. Saying no is selfish.
I think it's not selfish, it's self respect. Right? Like when you say no, it's about keeping your own boundaries. It's about prioritizing your own work. It's not about harming the other person. It's not about disrespecting the other person.
It's not about being
So it's not
selfish.
about being selfish, it's about your own priorities.
People will start liking me less or stop liking me at all if I say no.
I mean, yes, there are people, let's say, if I am benefiting from your S and then you said no, then obviously I would start disliking you. So yeah, like joke aside, there would be people who would stop liking you because you are saying no to everything, because those are the people who are benefiting from your yeses.
But those are
So
not the people you
yeah,
want
those are
around.
not the people anyways you want them around. So yeah, I mean, it's both basically.
To say no, you need confidence.
I think you need to practice it first.
So no, the
So
answer is
it
no.
yeah. So like even if you are like the confidence is developed later on. Like first you start practicing saying no, and you get like once you start practicing that, once it is ingrained in your behavior, basically like you now have a very clear understanding of your priorities, and you know what you want to do, and you have that decision making ability of saying yes and no. If you keep practicing that enough, then the confidence develops. So your yes and no's becomes more confident if you practice saying yes and no more, right? If you are always saying yes, you would never have a confidence to say no.
So what's the one thing that you wish you said no to earlier than later?
And what's the one thing you're going to start saying no from now on?
Let us know if you also struggle with something similar, or if you had this problem and you dealt with it better than we are suggesting. We would love to know
Yeah.
solutions because we're still struggling. We're not perfect. And anything you want to add?
Yeah, and you can drop answer to these questions, like what's that one thing that probably you would have said yes or no, like the outcome would have been different. So just drop that in the comment section so that people know like you have dealt with it, and you said yes and no's to something, and which kind of harmed your long-term outcome.
Yes, and we'll see you next week.